This is my Uncle Greg. He died May 11th, 2015 from CTE, a semi-new dementia caused by brain damage from playing football. He was 66.
When I met Greg, I thought he was the most unusual person. Can you imagine a football player walking into the art department with a 19-inch neck, shoulders as wide as a refrigerator, and making art?
My dad was very smart and funny. My dad also thought he was very funny.
He had a huge art studio and was so large that he would ride his skateboard over to the kitchen to get something to eat.
He was very talented, creative. He taught school for 40 years.
He was very involved. He was a great dad.
2005, when I look back on it, he'd lose his wallet or his keys, and we had to look for them once a day. He could not learn to use the computer. He could not use his cell phone. And I thought that we were getting older and he was just a little goofy.
He couldn't talk like he used to, and he loved to talk. Talk. So that was a sure sign that something was kind of off.
Greg died of stage 4 CTE. Stage 4 is the highest level of that disease. His damage was one of the worst they'd seen in a college player at that age. CTE stands for chronic traumatic encephalopathy. Greg's damage started from his frontal lobes, where a football player hits most every play, especially for someone like Greg, who was a defensive tackle. Your frontal lobe is where your language is. It's your impulse control, problem-solving skills. And when that area of your brain's damaged, you lose all those abilities. When you lose your language, does not necessarily mean you lose your memory.
Until the day he died, he knew exactly who I was. Always did.
The last 10 years of his life, this disease changed him. And really, the last 2 years were the worst. It was 2013, and he was very confused. He could only do a puzzle that was marked for a 3-year-old.
He would pace up and down in our backyard, just pace around for hours.
He was very difficult to handle. And if you live it every day, it is very trying. He would get so frustrated, he would not let the caregivers help him change his clothes, help him brush his teeth, help him shower. He was just miserable, and it was miserable to watch.
He was a shell with this crazy person inside.
And one day, he looked at me across the table, and he said, "Deb, please help me. I don't want to be like this." So he knew he was losing his mind.
Our purpose in doing this documentary is to let other people know what a serious and horrible condition this is.
The risk they're taking. It's a huge risk.
People that say that they would play anyways, if they knew what he went through and what we went through as a family, there's no way that people would decide to keep playing.
It is the only dementia that is preventable.
If he could have chosen to be here with me, my mother, my brother, and the grandchildren, he would choose us for sure over the sport.
He never met a stranger. He made you feel welcome. He was just a special person. I felt very fortunate that I was married to him for 37 years.